Okay, so this will be a feedback slash critique for MF Bandit. And I've given you feedback before, so you know the drill, dude. I am not a Tekken professional. I just like playing Tekken a lot, and I feel like I've seen and played blah blah blah. I watched enough Tekken to give some pointers, right? Man. Anyway, all I'm trying to provide at the end of the day is food for thought, right? I'm not trying to say that, hey, if you do what I say, I will be forever. You will forever improve at Tekken. You know how this goes. Now, all that being said, I'm gonna be real with you. So you're requesting an analysis of like the Josie matches, and you just kind of got outpoked, or so you say. I watched the first two. I'm not gonna watch the rest. I don't think you got outpoked. You just don't know the Josie matchup, and you're overeager on applying your game plan. While you didn't quite, you kind of got knowledge checked in a lot of areas, right? But my main two areas that I'm going to be focusing on is that one, you don't know the Josie matchup, and then two, it's not the issue is not you getting outpoked. The issue is you for some reason cannot stop pressing into Josie's stuff, and you just don't seem to understand where to stop pressing, right? So we're going to be focusing on those areas, and I think I'm just going to do this one round, and we can from there kind of point out like, hey, stop pressing here, right? Okay, so you have this. Your wall standing 4, right, is -5 on block. If I can't see it, -6, right? Can I? Oh, whoops. Can I make this more high definition? Maybe it'll take too long to load. -6. What are you pressing here? Why are you pressing down 4? Right? So, typically high crush starts at 6 frames for most stuff, right? Let me double check that before I give erroneous data. Framebot, aka down 4. Oh, it actually starts at 4 frames, which is really good. What? AK down 4 is I14? No way. I thought it was I12. I mean, it doesn't matter. It starts crushing at frame 4, right? However, you are -6. Even hypothetically, right? Well, I think you'd still beat a jab, right? But here, right, you chip them out a lot. You get -4. You get some pushback. Why immediately go for down 4? Why do you feel like down 4 was what you needed to do there? Right? Genuinely asking. I'm not trying to be like, how dare you? It's like, what was your thought process here, right? If they are under pressure, have they pressed a lot of jabs in the past, right? What is their defensive reaction like? And so why would you press down 4 there, right? On the flip side, they're -6 and they decide to press a 17 frame move. Forward 4 is 17 frames, as you can see. Why did they do that? Maybe they felt that they were comfortable beating out whatever you did. I mean, they had a 6 frame head start, so you'd have to do something I11 or faster to beat whatever they did. Right. So context is a little bit important. So ask yourself, like, look at your matches and be like, okay, what was the opponent doing on defense in the past? Why would I focus on down 4 as opposed to anything else, or just blocking and see what the opponent does, right? But let's keep going. Okay. What? Okay, that hits. You tried to dash forward when they were advancing. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. My hypothesis is that you were just kind of moving around and you went forward and you're like, oh shit, they pressed the button, let me hold back, but you were too late, right? Why the frenetic dancing and moving around the stage so much? Why? Why does it matter? Right? Why not just hold back? Okay, this is more of a matchup knowledge thing, right? So this move she did, this forward 4, that shit hits super far. That's like, oh no, it can't punish Death Fist because it's 17 as opposed to 16. But that shit goes really far, right? This is gonna be a bit more advanced, like matchup knowledge stuff, like really technical Josie stuff. So it's up to you whether or not it really matters. But just kind of like figure out look at how far. Oh my god, okay. Okay, so like right here, like you see how far it reaches. If you were on the same axis, you would have blocked that, right? And also this has a string, but just focusing on this singular move for a second, right? Just block and no need to advance forward, right? Because you need to maintain a safe distance from some of the stuff, right? She'll advance forward with something and then you can focus on punishing that or whatnot, right? So you don't need to move. Try to avoid moving forward when you don't need to. This is again more character specific stuff, but as you figure out ranges of specific characters and or players and what they like to where they like to initiate offense, where they're more passive and stick on defense, right? That's when you want to start analyzing, like, okay, what's the good range I want to maintain a position at, and how do I, what's the maximum range I can stay at that avoids me getting clipped by stuff, that avoids me getting randomly hit by something, but still maintain range for ideal whiff punishment, right? So for Josie, it's like around this situation, you just kind of move forward at the wrong time, right? It happens, not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind is just kind of like when you're at that range and they're showing that they're going to be using this tool, just block, right? Another thing, this is a string. Always block it. This shit is like hit confirmable now or something. And I think it's also counter hit launcher. I can't remember, but it's chunky damage. It's a hit confirmable string, or so Josie players tell me. Always block, and this shit is, which we'll see. All right, she's just doing strings, right? These are not pokes. These are just strings. And then you block them and you're like, awesome, this should have been back one too. Instead, it's nothing, right? So a lot of this is just going to be, you're not doing basic punishment stuff, so the Josie can just kind of press whatever, and then she doesn't really do anything, right? Like you do a jab, you don't even do like 2-1, right? So iron out the punishment issues, right? That's the most important thing. Oh, nice. You did a lot of tombstones for, which is fine. I think that's fine. Good counter hit launch. I guess you tried to wave dash, but kind of messed it up. That's fine, right? Okay. Why'd you press, actually? Down. Oh, you're doing a crouch dash throw. Okay, so let's analyze that, right? Why from this point, right? Why immediately go for a crouch dash throw, right? I don't know. This is my new thing. This is just kind of like, oh, this gap in offense, the gap in timing gave the Josie a feeling that, oh, he's gonna go for a high or something. This is where it's tough. You just kind of have to polish it yourself. Like here, I mean, I also don't understand why the need for a crouch dash throw. Like I feel like you're in range for any of your throws to connect, right? And also, it's fine to just do basic throws like the headbutt slams, down forward 2+3, or Hades drop, right? Hades drop is bufferable now, right? Any of those things would work, right? I don't think you necessarily need to commit to the crouch dash throw here. The issue being, again, the distance and speed at which it was, right? Your crouch dash throw, it doesn't. How fast is the crouch dash throw? It says I-12, but then you also have to factor in the actual input of the crouch dash. So, well, actually, does it do that already? No, because it says for CD for dark upper it'll say I11, but the in parentheses you'll see the real startup of dark upper, which at its fastest is going to be I14. So I12, right? I12 for the crash test throw. That's the actual throw itself. Yes, is still I12, but you have to factor in the inputs involved, right? The forward, neutral, down, down, forward, right? All of those factor in as part of the move, and it doesn't show it on the frame data bot, right? But you still have to factor in as part of the startup. Otherwise, dark upper would be I11, and we all know it's not, right? So your crash test throws aren't I12, right? They're still at minimum I15, maybe. Well, assuming I know how inputs work, I have to double check that, right? But they're not I12. So at this range you're at, right? Start factoring range into your throws. Also, they immediately start ducking, which is fine. But focusing on just the move choice here, right? Factoring range into your throws, don't be afraid to just use the super basic throws such as down forward 2+3, right? Maybe not that one because that's a 2 break and you've been doing a lot of 2 breaks. Given the last round where you were just tombstoning them left and right, this player is not looking at the hands, right? Just based on that alone. They're just, oh, what commonly used throw is he using? I'm just going to break that. They're not looking at the hands. So don't be afraid to just keep throwing them, but vary up your usage, and also understand that, like, oh, hey, I'm already in range for most of my throws to work out. I don't need the boost of range from a crouch dash throw, right? Something to keep in mind. They immediately duck here, which is a different story. That's a different layer, but that's whatever. That's something to keep in mind for the future. Like, oh, after I do a jab, they immediately start ducking, but that's whatever. Another thing to consider is also just backdashing, right? From here, after you do the jab, just backdash and see if they like to throw out a move and what they like to do. So if you backdash, you see them immediately duck, you're like, you're ducking, forward 2-1, right? Or down back 2-4 as well, whichever, right? So that's up to you to decide. That's not really like a this is better, this is worse situation. I think either one is fine. If you had the read that they're gonna duck depending on their previous matches, then yeah, obviously backdash, right? Or just do a mid right after. But if you're unsure, I don't think a throw was a bad idea. I just think the specific throw you chose to use at that point wasn't exactly the best, right? Either one works. Just make a decision for yourself. At least their combos are on point. If they're doing string, this is like fine. I think it's an issue of you didn't know that there's a third part to the string, or maybe you didn't, you pressed into it. Why, I don't know. I think that shit is launch punishable. Framebot, down back 2, 3, 4? Down back 4, 2, 3. Because it's her wall combo thing. I don't know why they're doing that. Okay, so on block that shit is this the move I'm actually thinking of? Yeah, that's the move they did. So on block that shit's -14, right? Which you could have easily wall splatted. Just block, homie. It's a bunch of strings. Just block. It's -10, no punish. And why? Okay, so like, what is her rage drive? Okay, now I'm being mean. Sorry. When I'm with my friends, I talk a lot of shit, and it's just kind of like my old habits are kicking in, right? Whenever I give feedback, like in Discord calls and shit, I start talking shit, right? But okay, I mean this in the nicest way possible, right? Are you telling me her rage drive is her out poking you? Right? That's not, you're just pressing into stuff. That's the frustration I'm having here. It's just kind of like a combination of a lack of knowledge, which is fine, but then also an over-eagerness to apply your game plan when you could have just blocked, right? You have the life lead. They're gonna die in any throw. Think of the context. This Josie has never met a string that she did not like to press, right? They're using every string in the book. I saw 3-3. You should also be ducking that. I saw down back 4-2-3. I saw forward 4-3 every single time when it's just like, why all this shit? They finish the strings too. They finish them. They leave themselves punishable because they know they can get away with it, right? And I think you just need to start recognizing opponents where you just you gotta block, right? If you don't know the character matchup, you're like, man, I don't know these strings. Then continue to play out the round and then dip and then go do your homework on figuring out what's punishable and what's not, right? But that's a different story, right? But like right here, you're overeager to apply your offense, and then if you just blocked, you would have been okay. But the overcommitment to kind of try and apply pressure when you don't need to, right? Okay, so like right here, right? Why do you need to apply pressure? What is the Josie going to do with her rage that's so scary, right? At any point, a stray whiff, a single block, or a single throw is going to kill them, right? So why do you need to overextend here? What exactly is the urgency, right? You still got 20 seconds left on the clock. If you maintain a good distance, right, you're going to make sure that CD2 from Josie will whiff, and then all she has is like CD3, which you can force her to be predictable, right? You can force her to use these awkward range moves that'll immediately get hit either by your keep out or you just block and punish, right? So, again, you're overextending way too much, and I think that's the crux of what's getting you killed. Switch, you just gotta hard call out that shit. You just kind of gotta duck, and then if you duck, awesome, and they do switch one, awesome. You just kind of fuck them up, right? If they do their other ones, like the wall bounce or the fucking the other mid, it doesn't matter. It's not like they're launching you, right? But blocking the low and the high and ducking the high is ideal. But you just kind of have to play that layered mind game, right? Layer one is that you press after any switch move, they're going to press switch one and counter hit launch you, right? So then you go, I think they're going to do switch one because they think I'm going to mash. And so then you duck and then launch them. And as long as you launch them, then you're golden, right? But if you don't launch them, they have no reason to what's what I'm looking for? To be scared, right? Because then once you show them that you're willing to duck switch one, then we can go into the next layer of the mind game of like, okay, now I gotta do other shit to accentuate switch one. But switch one, you can like mitigate a lot of options. It's not an amazing stance. It's pretty okay. I mean, every single thing's like a counter hit launcher, and there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. But like, if the Josie the problem is how much she has to commit to it, right? Like, she's like locked in place. If she whiffs her switch move, you can just destroy her, right? Because she can't escape the stance. Whiff, block, or hit, she's locked into that stance, right? And if she doesn't have like the plus 20 or whatever the switch entry moves are, then whatever you do is going to beat out her move, right? You don't have to worry about it. But that's like, again, details of whiff punishing and stuff. You just got to practice the Josie matchup and how you want to handle switch. No punish on the forward 4-3. No ducking. Why are you pressing? Why are they just letting rip while standing 2-1? I don't understand this. Anyway, that's a mid-high, as you can see, and you're pressing forward one, down forward one? Why? I mean, it doesn't matter. They got they drop it. Rip. Okay, so cool. You've chipped them out enough. You got a lot of pokes in. You have the life lead. What are you gonna do now? Why are you? That's something you have to. That's more of a character matchup knowledge thing, right? Like, you kind of have to understand. Like, okay, I'm at a range. I've chipped them out enough. They're gonna feel antsy and then go for a big low, right? You gotta feel that out for yourself. What are you doing? So look at all these interactions, right? You start with a pretty decent life lead, right? Maybe not like amazing, but it's a noticeable difference, right? And if the clock goes to 0, you are going to beat them, right? You're going to get the round. But then all these interactions, it's you initiating offense at times when you don't need to, right? Like, okay, so she hits you with CD3 once. Cool. That sucks. But then she doesn't really, it's still kind of close, Maybe you have a slight life lead. It's hard to tell. But she's not winning, right? She's not. You're not on the back foot yet. You don't really need to do anything, and then you can just kind of block whatever she's doing, but then you don't, right? And now your life lead is just getting chunked away. CD throw. Okay, I like this, right? Don't overcommit to the CD throw. You just use it as an option. This is really good, right? Boom. You have the advantageous wall positioning, but you just kind of let her get away, right? Why? Are you afraid of her Oki? What's going on there? Okay. I don't know. This whole sequence is weird to me. Obviously, like you're not punishing them for staying on the ground or side rolling enough, which is annoying. But whatever. But like right here, why do you feel that immediately ducking to wall standing 2 when you're minus 11 would go anywhere, right? I don't know. It just feels like you're trying to go to like some layer 2, 3, 4, whatever shit, right? But the opponent's at layer 1. All they saw was forward 2. They're gonna duck because they're expecting forward 2-1, and they know King, Armor King doesn't have any follow-ups from it. But you're suddenly doing like, I'm gonna do forward 2, block, duck into wall standing 2, and then now all of a sudden the Josie's +9 for no reason, right? I think you're trying to like go way too many layers deep, and you should just done forward 2. Hold back, see what they do. They ducked, cool. I'll do down forward 1 before they can do like a wall standing move or something, right? Before they can visually understand that you did not finish the string and you're just holding back. Before they can do a move, you will see them ducking. You'll go, wow, you're ducking. Here's my mid, right? I mean, I guess wall standing 2 is a mid. I just don't see the point when it leaves you in such a bad position at the wall. Oh no, because it's the wall stun thing, right? Oh, I mean that's fine, I guess. I don't know. I think the wall stun's kind of whatever, but actually, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's up to you. I still think I would have just held back and blocked, but whatever. That's fine. Okay, you were -9. What did you press? What happened here? Wall standing 2. Oh, did you? Are you backdashing? I don't understand. I see the back input. So my understanding is you should be holding back. I don't know what happened there, but whatever you're doing, just hold back, right? Don't try to move around. Don't try to backdash, right? You're at -9. You can't backdash shit, right? You're gonna die for it. No punish. That one's weird. Okay, this one. Okay, I mean I've been harping on punish shit a lot, but like I know it's annoying. Practice punishing this in the lab. The block stun's very weird, so just practice punishing that. In my opinion. Nice. You did. Nice. Ah, yeah. Okay, just die. This is where the matchup knowledge comes in. That's -13, bro. He doesn't get shit. You just gotta wall standing 4. I think wall standing 4 with rage. I think you still would have killed though. So. Whatever. Let's keep going. Yeah, they know. You got knowledge checked. You gotta always low parry that. Alright, starting off strong. Poking, you're poking. Don't. Okay, again, so like, okay, you have to start making start varying up, like, okay. When have you done enough? When do you feel like you've done enough poking damage, right? If your goal is to win the entire round just solely through poking, that's a different story, right? But if your goal is to just, I need to poke to supplement my bigger plays, right? I'm trying to do small Tekken so that my big Tekken works out better, right? It's more favorable, my bigger Tekken has a higher chance of succeeding. That's different. In my opinion, I feel like you've done enough chip damage here where you don't need to focus on poking, because now you see that Josie's trying to press stuff, you're hitting her out of whatever, so you can just kind of block, and then she's gonna start pressing stuff, and you need to duck that string. She should not be getting away with this, right? The moment you see, okay, again, you gotta practice the matchup. The moment you see that shit, you gotta duck. Right, that shit, she should die for that. Anyway, but you have to start understanding of like, okay, I've think of it like tenderizing. You're tenderizing your opponent. You're conditioning them. Blah blah blah. Whatever the terminology you want to use, right? But you have to understand, like, you have to start experimenting with what is the line where at which point you stop, and you've conditioned the opponent enough to be like, all right, I think they're gonna start pressing stuff. And each opponent, it's a different tolerance for this type of stuff, right? Some opponents, they will just die to low pokes all day. They're just like, I'm just never gonna press. So I'm never gonna do anything. But other opponents, like this Josie, is just like, oh my god, I'm getting poked. I'm just gonna start throwing out strings, right? Like, who the fuck does down 3-4? So you have to start getting a feel for, like, oh, I need to just block, and then they'll do something stupid which you can then punish, right? I think that's guaranteed. So no punish, no whiff punish. Nice. Downtown. Nice. Nice. Oh, I thought you were gonna do hop kick. Wait, what did you press? I thought it was hop kick. 3. Wasn't it? Isn't that hop kick? No, would you back 4? Down back 4? You did down 4? Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know. I feel, obviously, to me, I'm the spectator, so to me it's obvious that, you know, you're gonna do a bunch of jabs and then do the rage drive, and then Josie's gonna read that. But obviously, in the heat of the moment, it's a lot different. I don't even. Yeah, all right. Let's just do the wrap up. Let's see the death. Rip. Okay. Neutral, punishment / matchup, non-combo / Oki, personal opinion stuff. Neutral. I think your neutral was fine. I think your small Tekken was solid. I just think you need to experiment more with your options in key situations, in the context of the situation, right? If you're at range 0 and you did a jab into a throw, I don't think you need to do the crouch dash throw, right? You have other throws you can be using, especially throws that are bufferable, which means they'll still be 12 frames, but they'll come out super fast and the opponent won't be ready for them, right? Like Hades drop. Also recognize, I'll talk more about that in punishment stuff. Other aspects of neutral. Understanding when to kind of like just hang back and just block, right? Understanding that, like, oh, I think this opponent is very more aggressive. They're not very passive on defense. So I can just, you know, just block. And then they'll do something stupid which you can then punish. Obviously, if you don't know the matchup or if you don't know any of the basic punishment stuff, you know, you can't punish anything, but you can. That's a whole different story. I think you can still experiment, and then later on, like, learn, like, oh, this is punishable by this is punishable by that, etc., etc., etc. Other aspects of neutral. I thought neutral was like fine. My issue was not necessarily your current playstyle. It's the, I mean, I guess it is. I don't know. It's maybe it is, maybe it's like a subcategory. It's the constant aggression. It's the not understanding of, like, oh, I can just wait here, right? And I can just let my opponent hang themselves by doing a bunch of punishable shit. Obviously, they're not going to if you're not punishing them, but that's a different story. I think you're just too over aggressive and you're unfamiliar with Josie and you're not punishing anything that you need to be, right? If it was like 2 or 3 things, I can understand, right? If it was like, oh, you blocked the string, but you didn't punish it once, but you punished it the other time or 2 times, right? Or if you missed 3 of the punishes, but you got 2 of them, I can understand that. You were consistently not punishing any of the Josie gimmicks, right? And even the gimmicks that have, like, mix-ups, like her 3 string has a high, mid or high follow-up, it's like, who cares if the mid hits you? If they do the high and you duck it, you will kill them, right? If you duck the mid, if you duck the 3 and they do 3-2, you eat maybe like 15-20 damage. Okay. If this Josie, who seems to love every string in existence, right? If they press 3-3 and you duck them, you will murder them. You get like 80 damage, right? Your AK You got a launch opportunity as AK, right? You're gonna kill them. Who's winning in that scenario, right? The person who maybe ate 20 damage on a wrong read, or the person who ate 80 damage on a wrong read, right? So, yeah, just pump the brakes a little bit. Understand when you can just, all right, I don't need to advance too much. I can just hang back a little bit and just punish them. Other aspects of neutral, I don't know, I like the move choices. Maybe you could have stood to be more aggressive with stuff like forward neutral 2. I feel like forward neutral 2 would have counter hit a lot in these situations, but it's whatever. I don't think that's like, obviously, yeah, obvious stuff, do more good moves, but that's not really a core issue that I'm seeing here, right? Alright, punishment / matchup knowledge. I can't stress this enough. Learn basic Josie punishment. You are not getting outpoked, you are just getting knowledge checked. That's pretty much it. They weren't poking. I don't think I saw a single jab from this Josie outside of maybe a punishment scenario, right? Like, they just did strings, and you ate all of them. Or the ones you didn't eat, you never punished, so it didn't matter, right? Lots of wasted opportunity. Look up a punish guide, practice your punishes. Or if you're like, Josie not going to come back in Tekken 8, I don't care. You can also do that, right? It's up to you. But just know from now until Tekken 8 launch, the more Josies you face, you will just more than likely consistently lose to them, because you're not punishing even the big launch punishable stuff, like ducking down 3-4, right? Other aspects, punishment / matchup knowledge. Matchup knowledge, right? I talked a little bit about it, but how you use throws, right? If you did 4 tombstones in a row in the last match, and they didn't break any of them, and then they break the first one, right? That should tell you that, like, oh, okay, I've conditioned them to break 2, right? It should tell you, A, they're not looking at the hands, because they can't, right? They're not trained to do that. And then B, it's like, cool, they're going to be on the lookout to break 2 throws. Now I can giant swing. Now I can do a 1+2 throw, right? I can do Shining Wizard if you want to. I'm more preferential. A Hades drop, right? You can do a lot. I feel like after they broke that first tombstone, you just kind of never really threw them outside of the CD throw, which is fine. I think how you utilize the CD throw in some situations is good. But like when I was talking about it, when you were super close to the walls, like you got to take range into account and understand that, like, hey, context. If I don't need to dash forward for my throw and they're in range, just do a regular throw, or not a regular throw, a regular command grab, right? Combo / Oki. I thought your combos are solid. Rock solid, no complaints there. Oki, you're just kind of like, I don't know. I think backdashing a little bit and observing more, just overall, like look at the screen and look at what your opponent is doing and factor that into account. Just backdash a little bit, be like, how do they deal with me backdashing? How did they get away from the wall? What do they like to do? Do they fight their way out of the wall with moves? Do they just kind of try to move away from the wall? What are they doing? And then you look at what they're doing, you're going, okay, you're trying to fight back with moves. I'm going to backdash and whiff punish you. Or, okay, you're going to try and move away from the wall. I'm going to use my moves that lock you down, right? Like forward 3 or something. Personal opinion stuff. I pretty much already talked about it. There's not really much. There's not, options that I think are neat, but your mileage may vary, right? I don't think there's any option that I'm kind of like, oh man, you weren't using this enough, right? It's not. I don't think that's an issue in this round. It's more so, hey, punish. Learn this matchup and punish them. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, man. If you have any questions, let me know. If you are like, hey, man, what the fuck does this mean? Just ask, we're all in the Discord. Alright, man. Have a good one.